We can also look at just the skeleton very briefly. This is from Hillary Clayton research that I took this from. This different colors show where the skeleton is flexible mostly. And it is the neck, of course, like we all know. Then it flexes also a bit there by the ribs. Here it's getting pretty stuck. So when we talk about evenly bent horse, we are actually more talking about this line here. And as you see, this part is actually not bending in the sense of the spine, but the first part is, and this kind of gives a kind of illusion of an evenly bent horse, you could say. But that's what we are acquiring, for instance, when we're riding Voltas and such. The circle of muscles, this nice muscle there that I was explaining yesterday, along with then working the fascia there over the gluteus muscles and all the long stretch the horse's top line. As soon as you contract here, you also get the possibility to step under. You can feel it very easily yourself. If you just brace your back like that, there's no way you can actually kick up. I'm not the most flexible right now, but anyway, if I pull my stomach in, try anyway, then at least I'm able to actually kick up pretty much higher. A horse that has these functions might have completely different conformation. Not only different riding, but also simply that the conformation allows them to do this or to do that. And of course, the riding plays a very important role in how the horse tries to give in to our aids, basically. But also remember, like Horstman said, collection, which is often what we're trying to get, is a very difficult, hard work. And if we are trying to get the horse to maybe stay in such hard work over a longer period that he's not prepared for, not strong enough for, the horse will usually try to find a way that is easier. A horse never thinks hard or correct or wrong, simply easy, hard. So if a collection is difficult, it's hard work, then why not try to find a way out of it? Which sometimes ends up with something like this, for instance. Just a little bit here first, there was this research of rollkur or hyperflexion in Canada done, in Guelph. Their horses were, well, made in this kind of this rollkur, like that, I believe it's called, or hyperflexion in English. And the results indicated that hyperflexion increases stress and discomfort in horses. He does maybe the other thing, goes out and talks to people and gets them thinking. And you can often find all kinds of different research that are very interesting online on different databases. As I said, all horses can't have the same shape. Some simply have not the possibility to be very well raised. Horses have also different options, really, to become collected. I think that we could say that the goal we could have is to get the best natural form for each horse, and try also to accept if a horse has limitations in its conformation and not maybe over-stressed to get some kind of result that might not be really physically an option. He might not be able to do the heavy pulling work that conformation is done. I put this little picture in here just to remind us that we humans, we can get very, very far in our breeding into very various ways that might not always be according to what Mother Nature would have expected or considered to be a very fruitful thing. And we have to, of course, take care that we have an Icelandic, very sturdy horse that we want to keep healthy and sturdy and try to keep the whole picture as long and much as we can. Few conformation issues, the setting of the neck. Is it high set, low set, etc.? It's also, remember the shape, the S shape that Horstman showed us yesterday in the skeleton shape. Different how the horse carries himself from nature, which makes it also very different how he carries himself once there is weight on the back. Another picture, bit old one as well. This kind of a conformation, it might be actually very functional for certain things. It might very well be that this mare is a very fast pace horse, for instance. That she has a very easy time stretching forward and just moving those legs far underneath her. She seems like she is has rather long hind legs in comparison to the front, which also makes her a bit overbuilt. But to actually expect this horse to sit on the haunches and dance in some kind of a piaffe kind of slow tilt or whatever is maybe not that easy. With the back not as much forward sloping, this front that actually is able to raise more and get this kind of a dancing feeling maybe. Yet another one, and I know maybe I see a lot of smiles here. Judging according to a scale, and it should not really have that much to do with the conformation of the horse, if you just look at the guidelines, but the fact is, well, we can't really deny that it's nothing to do with it anyway. Forward, look to it. But isn't this a little bit of a disturbing thing? Not necessarily that he is maybe completely trotty, but there is certainly something that we would like to see a bit longer hindstep there. As a breeding judge and as a trainer, I have the feeling that a bit slightly more underneath with the hind legs would make a huge difference just to the overall picture of this. Have something maybe called a competition form. We discussed this a little bit yesterday, that we have a horse for training. We are not always riding him as we were in the competition. Isn't that true? We don't ride every horse every day at his very best ultimate possibility, in the fastest possible way, with the most pressure. Just like any other athlete. Any athlete that was competing on the Olympics, they are not performing everyday training like they were in the Olympics. You know, the fastest swimmers, they go and weightlift. They go and run a little bit, and they swim very slowly with the grandmas around as well. That's not to say that they can't, but they always have to go back to that working type of training, to put in the bank, to have some debit to take out when you actually need. A little bit to just think about as well. The form when a horse has no rein contact is sometimes maybe what the horse chooses himself. We can't influence it as much anyway. There we often see maybe how the horse has its own balance, how well it keeps it. Of course it has to do with also simply the training, how he's taught to keep himself up. Some of them never are able to keep it longer than for half a long side, and then all of a sudden they're down on the nose. Other ones can keep on for a very, very long time. Maybe just by stretching a bit, but don't lose their rhythm. From that point of view simply, especially when many horses are in at once. We have various backgrounds. The oval track, of course, has positive and negative sides. But what is rough riding as well? How do we deal with that? I think it's important just to keep that in mind, that positive training builds up horse, and that's important that we get this well-balanced horse and rider in harmony, the best sport partners, safer for the horse and rider, and both should probably also be happier afterwards, and gets more permanent results simply as well. And in any case, educated, knowledgeable judges and riders have more foundation to build on, and therefore also more to work from.